Hi, grade 4. Today we're going to be going over fractions in simplest form. So we're going to go over our vocabulary for fractions again. So fraction names a part of a whole. So 4/8 is a fraction. Equivalent fractions are fractions that represent the same number or the same amount. And the numerator is the top number of a fraction. It tells how many parts in a whole are being considered. So 4 and 4/8 is our numerator. Denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. It tells the total number of equal parts in a whole. So 8 and 4/8 is the denominator. And now we have common factor. That's a new one for today. It's a number that will divide evenly into both the numerator and denominator. We have talked about common factors before when we did all of our factor trees. Hopefully you guys can remember that, as it will be helpful for this lesson. So we're going to simplify using fraction bars first. So we have 4/12. We want to make that into the smallest, into the simplest fraction possible. So on your screen you have 4 out of the 12 squares there that are yellow. So now I'm going to put another bar underneath. So we're going to mark the same spot as all 4 of them in the yellow in the bar underneath as one whole. So we have all 4 blocks put into one whole. So if you think about it, 4 out of 12 is roughly 3. So we're going to put 3 blocks in total at the bottom. So if you look at this, this nicely matches up our bottom row with our top one. So you have 3 parts of a whole in the bottom rung, and you have one of those parts that are yellow. So that means that our simplified fraction will be 1/3. So that may be a little bit more of guess and check work to make sure that that is correct. So instead, we're going to more focus on how to calculate the simplest fraction. So here's our fraction, 7/21. We want to make that into the smallest fraction possible. So our first step would be to determine the common factors. So common factors, remember we first had to go through what times what is equal to 7. So think about it. Is there any times tables that equals to 7? 1 times 7, we know that one. And 2 times anything to make 7? No. 3 times? No. So this is the only one that we can do, is 1 times 7. So what about for 21? So you can do 1 times 21, or you can you do 2 times anything? No. 3 times 7 is equal to 21, and that's all the ones that we can do for 21. So now we have to look at which ones are the common factors. So we have all of the factors of 7 and all of the factors of 21. Now we have to see which ones are common. So which ones are the same in both 7 and 21. So for our first one would be number 1, and our second would be 7. And because 7 is the higher number, it is the greatest common factor. So now for step number 2, we have to divide the numerator and denominator by the biggest common factor, or the greatest common factor, determined in step 1. So we determined that it would be 7. So we have to do 7 divided by 7, because our numerator is 7, which is equal to 1. And then we do 21 divided by 7, which is equal to 3. So that means that our simplest fraction would be 1/3. So the simplest fraction of 7/21 is 1/3. So now we're going to do another one. This one's a little bit of a bigger one, but I'm sure you guys will be okay. We'll try to do it together, see if you guys can get ahead of me and get the answer before I do. So our very first step is to determine the common factors. So first we have to go through the factors of each number. So the factors of 18 could be 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. And what about 72? 72 has a lot of factors, so we're going to be going at this for a bit. And it might be a little bit confusing because we're not used to doing times tables that go all the way up to 72. I think there's only one that we normally do. So we have 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times 24, 4 times 18, 6 times 12, and 8 times 9. So now we have to go through which ones are common. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18 are all common factors. Which one of these common factors is the greatest or the biggest common factor? 18. So now we're going to go to step number 2. Divide the numerator and the denominator by the biggest common factor determined in step number 1. So we said that that was 18, so 18 divided by 18 is 1. 72 divided by 18 is 4. So that means 1 over 4 is our new fraction. So the simplest fraction of 18 over 72 is 1 over 4. All right, grade 4, that's all that I have for today. Hopefully you guys will be able to get this. If not, you're always able to message me or get a hold of me if you need any help, or you can look at page 258. All right, bye, grade 4.